You thought Elmer Fudd was just a goofy hunter? Some of the stuff he did was actually insane. Elmer Fudd may have been soft-spoken and slow, but don't let the voice fool you. Behind that hat and hunting rifle was a man on the edge. In this video, we're diving into the moments where Elmer didn't just try to catch Bugs Bunny. He completely lost control. From emotional meltdowns to actual war crimes. These are the times Elmer Fudd went way too far and somehow got away with it. A Wild Hare, 1940. Point-blank beginnings. Elmer's first face-off with Bugs Bunny is already unsettling. Instead of comedic warning shots, he presses the rifle muzzle against Bugs's forehead, cheeks quivering in murderous glee. Bugs kisses the barrel, a gag audiences adore. Yet, those early storyboards show Elmer was scripted to pull the trigger. Test screenings horrified executives, who insisted on the now famous misfire gag. Even so, the final cut preserves an uncomfortably long close-up of steel against fur, telegraphing Elmer's willingness to end Bugs then and there. If you think that's intense for a debut, his next outing graduates from solitary hunting to organized execution. Fresh Hare, 1942. The firing squad that dances. Having captured Bugs in the Canadian Rockies, Mountie Elmer lines up 5 rifle-bearing officers for a dawn execution. Bugs requests a last cigarette, walks to the firing post, then suddenly cues a vaudeville spotlight. The entire squad, Elmer included, breaks into a soft shoe routine, tap-dancing rifles spinning like batons. It's hilarious, but pause a moment. Elmer willingly participates in a state-sanctioned killing before being hypnotized by Bugs's showmanship. Early drafts contained no dance reprieve, only a hard cut to Bugs's tombstone as Elmer saluted. Studio heads intervened, but the surviving short still turns a children's cartoon into a near capital punishment spectacle. Ready for escalation? The next episode shows Elmer harnessing ancient Norse lightning, making a shotgun look quaint. What's opera, Doc? 1957. Wagnerian Murder by Thunderbolt. Elmer transforms into the spear-wielding demigod Siegfried, intent on fulfilling the aria, Kill the Wobbit. As orchestral brass thunders, he conjures literal lightning bolts to hurl at Bugs. When lightning fails, Elmer unleashes a storm so ferocious it floods the stage, seemingly drowning his quarry. Only a Deus Ex comedic wink reveals Bugs alive. Modern critics hail the short's artistry, yet tucked beneath the grandeur is a hunter upgraded to weather-manipulating deity, mass destruction for one rabbit. Think conjured storms are wild. Elmer's next descent involves boxing matches, and a rulebook rewritten so he can pound his target legally. To duck or not to duck, 1943. Legalized assault in the ring. After a hunting feud interrupts Daffy Duck's afternoon, Elmer agrees to settle differences in the boxing ring, presided over by a kangaroo referee. What begins as sport spirals into sanctioned battery. Elmer loads his gloves with horseshoes, bites Daffy's bill, and spikes him with the ring bell. Audience cheers fuel Elmer's frenzy until Daffy, concussed, draws a contract mid-match that outlaws unsportsmanlike homicide. Elmer signs, then smashes Daffy with the pen. Warner received complaints from parents who felt the short normalized fistfights between adults and defenseless poultry. If ring brutality pushes boundaries, Elmer's next transformation turns him from fists to corporate fraud. Hairbrush, 1955. Billion-dollar gaslighting. Suffering a breakdown, tycoon Elmer Fudd becomes convinced he is Bugs Bunny. While psychiatrists scramble, the real Bugs dons Elmer's suit, seizes Fudd Industries stock, and frames Elmer for embezzlement. Rather than a clueless pawn, Elmer colludes, signing fraudulent documents, laundering cash through carrot futures, and plotting a hostile takeover of his own company. Studio memos reveal the original script featured Elmer bribing a U.S. senator to deregulate carrot tariffs. Censors trimmed the Politico cameo, but the on-screen white-collar crime stands. Next up, sabotage so colossal it lands Elmer in the crosshairs of every wildlife agency on Earth. Rabbit Rampage, 1955, unproduced ending, erasing reality itself. While most fans know Rabbit Rampage as Bugs' turn at animator god tormenting Elmer, few realize early drafts flipped the roles. One abandoned finale shows Elmer grabbing the animator's pen and erasing Bugs line by line, starting with his smile, then his eyes, until only a pencil outline twitches. Producers scrapped the sequence for being nightmare fuel, but surviving animation cells prove Elmer almost executed a literal to-no-side, wielding existential erasure as the ultimate hunting trick. Since Warner shelved that horror, Elmer sought devastation through urban planning in the next short by bulldozing nature itself. Wobbit Twubble, 1941. Bulldozers versus national parks. Camping in Yellowstone Park, Elmer is tormented by Bugs' pranks until he commandeers a bulldozer and raises half the forest to trap one rabbit. Trees topple, wildlife scatters, picnic sites flatten. Background artists reportedly drew inspiration from Dust Bowl photographs. adding an eerily realistic haze of uprooted earth. Environmental groups protesting logging later cited Wobbit Twubble as propaganda for deforestation. Warner argued it was parody, yet Elmer's scorched earth policy foreshadows real-world debates about destroying ecosystems for perceived pests. Want bigger stakes? The next episode has Elmer traveling to the future, solely to ensure Bugs' demise. The Old Gray Hair, 1944, time-traveling revenge. A heavenly voice grants Elmer a glimpse into the year 2000, where he and Bugs are aged rivals. Not satisfied waiting, Elmer time warps forward, armed with a laser shotgun to settle the feud permanently. Futuristic artillery drops Bugs through skyscrapers, vaporizes sidewalks, and even cauterizes Elmer's own mustache in friendly fire. Historians note the laser weapons design mirrors World War II prototype ray guns, proposed by defense contractors. A chilling inclusion in a children's short release during wartime. As the dust clears, Elmer swears he'll wait another 1,000 years if that's what it takes. But the strangest escalation still waits in the wings. An episode so disturbing Warner trimmed 40 seconds and has never restored them. Unfinished Symphony of Horror, 1959, storyboard only. The Vaulted Breakdown. Discovered in 1998, a storyboard labeled Elmer X reveals a plot where Elmer, tormented by endless failure, consults a mad conductor who scores symphonies capable of controlling nature. Elmer commissions a piece titled Death of the Wobbit, then orchestrates a live performance that summons tornadoes, floods, and a final blackout over the world. Bugs interrupts by rewriting the sheet music into jazz, reversing the cataclysm. The last panels show Elmer shattered, staring into the audience as musical notes drip like blood. Leon Schlesinger reportedly halted production, noting the draft turns Elmer from Hunter to Apocalypse. Those panels remain unseen by the public, evidence that the docile Hunter nearly became animation's doomsday prophet. Elmer Fudd wasn't just chasing rabbits. Sometimes he was chasing revenge, whether it was unleashing military-grade weapons, snapping from rejection, or getting a little too comfortable with destruction. These moments prove Elmer wasn't just a punchline. He was a problem. Smash that like button, hit subscribe to Cartoon Rewind, and drop your favorite Elmer went too far moment in the comments. Because, let's be honest, there were times when Bugs should have pressed charges.